Hey, Wasatch Adaptive Sports community. Abigail here, and welcome back to another adaptive chair yoga class. Today I thought we could do a sequence that has more standing postures, and we'll still be using a chair. We'll also use a second chair today, so if you have another chair that you can bring to your practice, please do. If not, that's okay. Also, you can use a stack of books or just whatever you have handy. So think about what you have around the house. That would also work. All right, let's get started. Today we'll start with a breathing exercise. So as much as we can, we're going to bring our hands to our ribs. You want to feel this upper portion of your thoracic cavity, of your torso, and we're going to rest our hands lightly on your ribs. Let your shoulders relax. Now take a breath in and see if you can feel your ribs push forward into your fingers. As you breathe out, feel the ribs fall away from your fingers. Good. Now inhale. See if you can feel your ribs go up and out to the sides. Exhale, feel them fall. Take another breath now. Inhale, push your ribs back into your thumbs. Exhale, they fall away from your thumbs. So let's put that all together. Inhale, breathe, inflate your lungs, feel your ribs stretch forward to the side and back, pushing into your hands. Exhale, contract those rib muscles, your intercostal muscles, feel them fall away from your fingers. Again, inhale, lungs and ribs inflate. And exhale, feel them fall away. Rest your hands, give those arms a break. See if you can continue this breath. Inhale, really expanding the ribs, stretching those muscles. Exhale, actively contracting the rib muscles and releasing. Nice. It's good to work those rib muscles to give our lungs more space and more resilience for breathing. So see how much you can focus on that breath as we go throughout our class today. Let's come to a standing position. I'll do this from the side so that you can take a look. Nice. We're going to stand with our feet hip distance. Point your toes forward. Make sure they're not going out. Hips shift back slightly. Grow nice and tall. Spread your toes wide. Feel grounded. Low belly lightly lifts. Shoulders relax. The crown of the head reaches up. If you don't need your hands on the chair, you can bring them down. If you're working on balance, even standing balance, one thing that really helped me after I had the stroke was to place both hands on a wall or a chair, a piece of furniture, and then slowly start to release my fingers. So I'd do 3 fingers, and then 2 fingers, 1 finger, then try just 1 hand, 1 finger. So over time, you can start to reduce the amount of reference that you're using for balance as a way to build some of that neural pathway back and some of that vestibular and visual balance. But do whatever you need to. Make sure that you stay safe and that you're not going to fall. Good. Nice. Let's take a big inhale. Reach up. If you need to keep a hand connected, do. Exhale. Drop your hands to the back of the chair. Walk back. Modified downward facing dog. Breathe. Anchor your ribs in. Make sure those toes are liftable. Good. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, soft bend in the knees. And inhale, walk forward up to the top of the mat. Good. We're going to step back with our left leg first. Stay high on the ball of your foot and keep the leg as straight as you can. And keep your hips square to the back of your chair if possible. We don't want our forward knee to shear forward. Keep it stacked over the ankle. You can widen your stance if you need, or you can keep a lower stance. So we're in this high crescent lunge. Squeeze your left hip forward. Try to keep your pelvis neutral. Maybe you'll bring one hand to heart center. Maybe you want to switch it out. Maybe you feel balanced enough to bring both hands to heart center. Maybe even reach your arms up. You can always keep one hand connected if you need. Good. Drop both hands. Nice. Plant the ball of the left foot, that back foot. Straighten both legs. Hips are still square to the front. Take an inhale, get some length. Exhale, we'll start to bend the elbows, pyramid pose. Can you keep your thighs active? Stretch the crown of the head forward. Good. As we inhale, we'll straighten those arms. Exhale, take a soft bend in that forward leg, that right leg. Inhale, press through your heel, step back forward. Exhale, walk both feet back. Find that thoracic stretch, that modified downward facing dog. Breathe. Bent knees if you need. Long spine. Head relaxes. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend those knees. Inhale, rise up. Step back to the top of the mat, to the top of the chair. Hands rest on the chair. Keep buoyant in your knees here. Make sure the toes are still forward, and let's step back with the right leg. Good. Stay high on the ball of the right foot, right leg straight. Squeeze the right hip. Left knee bent directly over the left ankle. Legs are strong and stable. You're kind of doing this scissoring action with your thighs to help with stability and balance. Maybe you just come to a few fingers. Maybe you want to bring one hand to heart center. You can switch. Maybe you bring both hands. Maybe arms go up, shoulders stay down, ribs stay anchored. Pressing the feet down into the floor as you lengthen up. Good. Exhale, both hands to the back of the chair. If they're not, let's straighten both legs. Shift the hips back. Pyramid pose. Inhale, lengthen by pressing your feet down. Exhale, bend those elbows. Start to fold however much you need. You could bring your hands all the way to the base of the chair if you wanted. You could even turn the chair around. Activate your thigh muscles. Keep those hips square. Don't let them twist. One more breath in, breath out. Inhale, straighten those arms. Exhale, soft bend in your left knee. Press through your left heel and step forward. Shake it out. Good. We're going to turn to the side and I'll show you the pelvic list. So we're going to start to work on balancing poses today, using a chair or a piece of furniture to make sure that you stay stable. So we'll start with our right foot. This is called the pelvic list. One of the things that really helped me improve my walk was strengthening my lateral hip muscles, these outer hip muscles, so that I could recruit them each time I took a step, so I wasn't kind of falling all over the place. I had a really ataxic gait for a long time after my stroke, even when I was no longer using my walker, and this really helped to improve my gait. Now, if you don't have any walking stability issues, it's still a good idea to strengthen your walking muscles, especially as the weather warms up, and maybe we'll do some more hiking so our body is more prepared to respond to a variety of terrain, trails, and all the things that we love to do with our body. Okay, so we're going to shift our weight slightly to the right leg, and we're going to activate the hip muscles on the outside of the right leg by pressing them down. The more we press them down, suddenly our left foot will clear the floor. Now we're not going to lift the hip. That's not how we do it. We're going to press these outer hips down, really push your heel into the floor. It will just cause this leg to lift. You're going to stand up tall, straight, keep pressing your heel down, keep squeezing these hip muscles here. You'll start to feel them burn. And you just kind of let your left leg hang. It's not a very big lift. Exhale, release. Maybe massage that out. Good. Make sure your feet are pointed forward, not out. Shift the weight to the left leg now. Activate your lateral hip muscles, your tensor fasciae latae, some of these glute muscles. Push your heel down. So the left side is going down. That's what causes your right foot to clear the floor. So just, maybe an inch off the ground, maybe less. Use the chair for stability if you need. You can always remove your hands if you don't need that. Surprisingly difficult. Make sure you're breathing. Feel your ribs expand as you inhale, contract as you exhale. Whew. And release. Good. Walk in place. Okay, let's go back to our balance. So I'm going to bring my second chair here. So you can always turn the position of your body relative to your chair, but I'm just going to have a chair on both sides of me so you can see. So I'm going to start with the right leg. We're going to activate those lateral hip muscles, but this time we're going to lift our knee all the way up. We did a seated version of this in our last class. Relax the shoulders, draw the low belly in, breathe. Really rooting down with that right leg. Good. Now flex your left foot. Take an inhale. Exhale. Open that leg out to the side. Option to look past your opposite shoulder. Stay rooting down in that right foot. Keep those hip and glute muscles active. Good. Inhale. Come forward. Drop your hand to your hip. Straighten your leg. Maybe point your toes. Maybe lift your leg a little higher. Whew. Shake it out. Walk in place. Shimmy it out. Let that go. And turn so that you can hold your left hand to the back of the chair or wall. We'll do the other side. Root down. Activate your lateral hip muscles, your glute muscles. Inhale. Lift your left knee. Hand rest just lightly on the knee. Core is engaged, nice and tall. Breathe. Good. Take an inhale, root down, lengthen up. Flex that right foot. Exhale, open to the side. Use your hip muscles and maybe look past that left shoulder. Staying strong and stable, breathing. Good. Everything comes back to center. Move with deliberateness. Hand to hip. Straighten the right leg. Point the toe. Stay standing up nice and tall. Maybe lift your leg a little higher. Feel your breath. And release. Shake it out. Shake it out. Okay. All right. You can stay exactly where you are. I'm just going to change the position of this relative to the chair so you can see from the front. We're going to take our legs wider than the chair. Turn your toes maybe even slightly in. Just make sure they're not pointed out. Shift your weight back to your heels so the toes are liftable. Hold the chair and you can start to bend forward as much as is comfortable. We're going to shift our weight over to the right. You'll feel a stretch on the inner thigh of the left leg and then shift over to the left. Good. Shift to the right. Shift to the left. These are pelvic glides. I think they feel really nice after doing balancing poses. Stretching the inner thigh and the outer hip. Try not to let your hips twist. That can be challenging. But you're just shifting your weight from side to side, taking kind of a straddle position. Good. Nice. Come back to center and straighten those arms. Step your feet back to center. Now we're going to use a chair, a second chair, and a stack of books or blocks. I'll use blocks today, but get what you need. All right. Moving all these props around is so good for us. All right. So we'll start with the chair on the right side. Good. All right. Let's bring it right about here. Plant your right hand on the seat of the chair. Take an inhale, reach your left arm up. Exhale, reach over. You can bend the elbow. You could rest your whole forearm on the chair if you like, or just keep your hand there. Try to keep your left hip anchored. Breathe deeply into the side body here. Good. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release. We're going to shift the chair forward just a little bit to angle it, and we'll bring our foot up, our whole leg up. Now, you can open your leg as wide as is comfortable. It might be a small angle, it might be a bigger angle, but enough so that you feel a stretch on your inner thigh, your adductors. Also, I like to put my foot right on the back of the chair so that it keeps it from pointing. You get a little more stretch in your calves and the back of the leg this way. And then make sure your calf muscle is also up on the chair if possible, just so that it can help prevent your knee from hyperextending. So let's take that same side stretch, but with our leg lifted. Now, if your knee needs to be bent, that's also totally fine. Listen to your body. You could also use a stack of blocks to bring your leg a little lower if this is too high. So just some options to consider as you get yourself set up. Bring your hand to your right shin. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, stretch over. Breathe. Feel your lungs and your ribs expand on the left side. Feel that length. Good. Rise up. Inhale. Bring your left forearm to your thigh. Reach up and over into a side angle. Really push down with your forearm. Reach and stretch up. Keep your lifted leg active. So we're not just flopping into our props. We're really using our muscles here. Good. Now press off that thigh. Inhale and look forward. Here's the fun part. We're going to take a fold. Now, you can have your stack of books or blocks as high as you need, but let's take a fold. So this foot's flexed, toes and knee pointed towards the ceiling, anchored here with your left leg. Take an inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring your hands to whatever you're using here. Try to reach your tailbone back and lift it off the seat. So we don't want to be rounding here. We're just going to hinge forward as much as our pelvis allows. So these front hip bones tip down towards the floor, and you'll use your hands for support. So you could be much higher up. You might even just have hands on thighs and just gently coming forward. You might not need to fold at all. This could be enough of a stretch for you. But in some way, let's take a little half straddle stretch and breathe. Good, rise up. Hands to your thighs. Use your core. Lift back up. Woo! All right. Release that leg. Shake it out. Wiggle your knees. We're going to bring the chair around to the other side. So let's start with our seated lateral extension. Plant your left hand. Take an inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale. Use the support of the chair to take the side stretch. You might look towards the ceiling. That's okay on the neck. Breathe. Stretch. Anchor that right hip. Soften your jaw. And press up, inhale, exhale, release. All right, shift your chair so that you can set up for the half straddle. Make sure that chair isn't going to slide around as much as possible. And take your knees as wide as possible so you really get into the straddle as much as your body allows. Bring your hand to your left shin. Inhale, up and over, back into that side stretch. It's okay if you don't reach your toes. You just stretch as much as you can with breath in your body. Rise up, inhale, form to thigh, and up and over into a side angle. Reach through your fingertips and press down through your left hip. At the same time, reach through that left heel. So you have all these directions of movement tractioning your body. Good, rise up, inhale, and let's take our fold if you're folding. Let an inhale lengthen you. Find space. Exhale, fold. Tailbone kind of lifts up off the seat. Heart hinges forward. Hips hinge forward. Trying not to round in the back at all. And breathing. Good. Inhale, get some length. Exhale, rise back up to seated. And release that foot. Shake out those legs. Nicely done today, you guys. You can move your blocks aside. I'm going to set the chair right in front for our Supta Baddha Konasana, supine bound angle. Bringing the legs up to your chair, leaning back this time, letting your knees fall open, resting your hands maybe on your thighs. Shoulders droop and sink down, hips completely release their weight into the chair. Breathing in, breathing out, softening the face, softening the breath, letting all the muscles in the body become a little bit looser. Imagining as if you're just switching your muscles off. So you can be held here by the essence of you, by the support of the props, and by the natural inhale and exhale of each breath cycle. It might feel good to place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Feel the breath as it moves through you. Feel the effortlessness of the breath. And drop your hands on an exhale. Inhale, circle sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Release one foot at a time. Rise back up into that stable upright position. Acknowledge yourself for some small way for working hard, exploring new things with your body, and simply just for doing the best that you can. Our bodies are really rewarded with effort. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.